Hello, and welcome to How to Evaluate Information, a presentation by the American Public University Online Library. We evaluate things every day, whether it's a movie we just saw with friends or a dinner at a fancy restaurant. It's no different in academic research. The criteria for evaluating information, however, are more rigorous than the criteria we use to review the latest Avengers movie or the mango salsa that came with our meal. How do you make sense of what is out there and evaluate its authority and appropriateness for your research? This question, posed by the University of California, Berkeley librarians, is one faced by every student and researcher. How do I know if what I found is good? Critical evaluation is vital to scholarly endeavors. It is important to use the standards of your field of study, but also to develop your own personal criteria for evaluation. Fortunately, the criteria for judging the quality of print and website resources have been outlined by numerous librarians at numerous institutions over the years. Given the massive amount of information resources available to researchers nowadays, you may be tempted to use the first resources you find. This should be resisted. Evaluating a resource is an important part of doing research. Learning how to evaluate effectively is a skill you will use not only for a single piece of research, but throughout your professional life. These 6 areas should be considered as you locate and read through your information resources: scope, currency, authority, validity, accuracy, audience, and point of view. Scope. What is the breadth of the resource you are considering? Is it a more general work, providing you with an overview? Or is it more specifically focused on a single aspect of your topic? Does this level of coverage match the level or degree of coverage of your research question? Does it cover the time period you're interested in? Currency. When was the source published? If it is a website, when was it last updated? If your research requires current information, historical information, or information over a period of time, you need to make sure the resource answers that need. That is, current events will need very up-to-date information, while historical research might need older material, or even material written at the time the historical event occurred. And if the resource is a website, check to see that the links are up to date. Broken links can signal an inactive website. Authority. The authoritativeness of a resource refers to credibility of who is creating or supplying the information. If the resource is a book or article, what are the author's professional credentials and reputation? What is his or her level of expertise? Have they published or written about this subject before? Do other authors cite this person's work? If the resource is a website, who is providing the content? Is it an educational institution, a government agency, a nonprofit or commercial organization? Is the provider a reputable organization? Is there an author or contact person listed? If so, what are that author's credentials? And you want to know if the site has been reviewed by experts or other professional organizations. The language or style of a resource can also inform you as to whether or not it's authoritative. Is the language objective or emotional? Is the author presenting information or trying to persuade or manipulate the reader? Does the author make broad generalizations that overstate or oversimplify things? Validity/accuracy. When determining if an information resource is a valid one, what you're looking for is how accurate it is. Can you verify the content using other sources? Do those sources report the same information? Does the author or provider give evidence to support what they are saying? Do they cite the sources they've used? If a website, does the provider present the selection criteria used for the links found on the site? Is the website well edited? Are there typographical errors? Audience. Determining who the intended audience is for a particular information resource helps you decide if the source is appropriate for your needs. Is it targeting researchers or experts, tradespersons or professionals, or the general public? Is its approach highly technical or advanced or elementary? Point of view or bias. While it is not incorrect to cite a resource that expresses a particular point of view, from the standpoint of evaluating information, it is important that the researcher recognizes this. One needs to ask, what point of view does the author represent? Is the article an editorial that is trying to argue a position? A report that shows evidence to support only one interpretation? Or a factual article simply reporting an event or the process and findings of an experiment? If a website, is it sponsored by a company or organization that advocates a certain philosophy or political viewpoint? Is the article published in a magazine that has a particular editorial position? Does the author or website present information that is one-sided with no acknowledgement of other viewpoints? Good research is dispassionate and impartial. It reports information accurately and thoughtfully. A good researcher respects the work of others by citing all sources used. Well-written research demonstrates an awareness of its intended audience. If making a claim, challenging or developing a theory, or simply explaining, a good researcher is one whose expertise is demonstrated in his or her professional credentials and scholarly background. In evaluating information resources, don't be afraid to take a close look. Simply being published in a book or journal or being posted on a website does not mean a resource is a good one. Don't forget that we have a team of expert librarians ready to assist you in your work. All are subject specialists. Most have master's degrees in addition to their master's in library and information science, and several have PhDs. We are here to help. The online library is open 24/7, every day of the year.